to One Good Life. In this channel, we draw insights from modern science and ancient wisdom that can help us live a happy and meaningful life. Today we'll start talking about nutrition, and specifically about the topic of sugar. Most of us know that we shouldn't be consuming too much added sugar. However, how much is too much? Normally, the way we go about it is we remember last time we had a piece of chocolate, some cake perhaps, and we try to regulate our consumption that way. However, when reading about this topic, I found concrete ballpark figures which are given by reputable health associations around the world, which to me are super useful to have a general idea in mind for what to look for when reading labels and when deciding whether to eat that thing I'm offered or whether to buy that product in the supermarket, even if the label looks healthy. So why is sugar so bad after all? There's been proven links between a high intake of sugar and many diseases. One is type 2 diabetes, but sugar is also linked with heart issues, including stroke and generally poor heart condition. There's also an association between sugar and fatty liver condition. Sugar is very bad for our teeth and our mouths. Sugar can definitely make us gain weight. Sugar also has an impact on something called metabolic disease, which we'll be covering in future videos. There's also associations between high intake of sugar and poor skin health, for instance acne or more rapid skin aging. And it's also not recommended for mental health for a variety of reasons, one being the more constant mood swings that a frequent intake of sugar gives us, and also researchers are finding links with other conditions such as inflammation, which can have a larger effect on our health, and potential links with some forms of cancer as well. Something to keep in mind is that it's never too late to start applying these tips, because a lot of these studies compare people who have had a lot of sugar for a sustained period of time versus others who have not. So although to give practical and healthy recommendations for daily intake, normally these numbers are broken down into daily recommendations. At the end of the day, if we had more sugar one day, we can make sure that the next day we have a bit less. Recommendations vary a little bit. However, the most common one I've found is around 25 grams, which is equivalent to 6 teaspoons per day for women, and 37 grams, roughly 9 teaspoons for men. For children, it starts very low and it gradually increases as they go through adolescence into adulthood. That number is surprisingly very easy to meet. Something to note is that that number is not the recommended intake of sugar per day. It's actually the maximum recommended intake, meaning that if we go over that, we would probably consider not having had a very healthy day nutrition-wise. And surprisingly, or not that surprisingly, in many countries, the average person is consuming 2 or 3 times that maximum recommended intake per day. Why is that? If we think of these metrics, we would imagine someone eating a lot of junk food, drinking a lot of Coke, having a lot of sodas and big ice creams and whatnot. However, it's extremely easy to go over this maximum daily intake. For instance, there's a lot of fruit juices which many people drink almost daily, which seem healthy. However, if you read the label, you would likely be surprised, and it's possible that even just one glass of that fruit juice will make you go over the maximum recommended intake. That's why to me it's key that we start shifting our perspective on some of these products, and instead of seeing them as something healthy or reasonably healthy, we start seeing them for what they are, and we start putting them in a similar category to what we would put chocolate or some cakes in. To me, the key to start getting familiar with how much sugar we are actually consuming per day is to start reading labels. I wouldn't do this obsessively. However, if we start having a look at what the labels say before buying or eating something, Over time, we get an intuition and a feeling for how much sugar it might be in a certain product. When we are looking at a label and we are trying to figure out how much sugar there is in it, I generally look at two metrics: the amount per serving and the proportion in the total package as well. The reason for this is that often the serving size the package is recommending or assuming you will have, it's often very, very small. Sometimes the serving size might be a third. Most likely we're gonna eat a little bit or a lot more than that. So I try to have kind of an idea of what eating the whole package would be. The way I like to think about it is we shouldn't be obsessing about these numbers. However, it's useful to have a general idea in our minds when we're making nutritional decisions. And in general, I try to aim for a healthy daily routine, which means when I'm on default mode, when I'm focused on other things, I have work to do, I have friends to see, I'm busy with chores, and I just want to eat something quick and easy to prepare, I try to default always to healthy and nutritious foods, and then on special occasions, I pretty much eat whatever I want. I think life is short and it's worth celebrating a lot. However, if you are having these foods pretty much every day, then I think we can be honest with ourselves and we can say, okay, I'm consuming this more than what I would like the frequency to be. Practice healthy recipes and healthy buying habits. That would mean that when we don't have time to think about this and we just want something quick and easy, we don't resort to something unhealthy. So in future weeks, I'll be giving you some practical tips for how to cut your daily intake of sugar in a way that is sustainable over time, and also how to develop healthy habits to replace our current not that healthy ones. In this channel, we believe that nutrition is one of the key components to live a happy and meaningful life. So we'll be touching more on how to make useful and realistic changes on our diet. That's all for today. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe so we can stay in touch. And we would also appreciate it if you left your thoughts down below and hit the like button so we can keep making more of these videos. Thank you for coming and see you again next week.